On May 15th, 2026, we went to review Chapter 6 of Broken Plea and ended up having a 6.5 or so hour live because the entirety of Chapter 6 in this book is the report regarding Dylan Mortensen's interview with ISP and MPD on 11/17/22. This is the interview where everything that she previously stated started being unraveled. She started being even more inconsistent than she already was. And a lot more questions come from this interview, especially now that we have facts, phone data, and a lot more evidence to prove that there was a lot more going on than what they want us to believe in that 8-hour time frame, and probably even before that. In order to make sure that the information that is being told to us inconsistent, the information that's being proven to have been a lie with the information that we have now, to make sure that the facts are being spread correctly, I am going to be breaking this very long interview down into smaller segments, adding images and other things that maybe I might have forgotten to add, or things that I am thinking of as I am re-listening to the segments as I am editing, just to give some more in-depth information to this interview. So here is part 4, and I will have a link in the description box to the full hours and hours long live if you just want to listen to it that way. Everything is alleged because she's so detailed, and to the point to where she's telling them she knows for a fact that Xana hadn't moved because she's in the exact same position as she was 8 hours prior, and she can hear all these noises, and she can literally give you an entire story about what she's claiming happened from beginning to end, while also claiming that she doesn't remember anything. And none of them ever did a shit thing about the bullshit. None of them did anything about the very, again, opposite side of the spectrum inconsistencies that came out of this girl, even before the cops were called. Because there's no way that she also sits there and tries to deny the fact that she knew anything was actually going on while also saying how scared she was. That's not how it works. She was just as opposite side of the spectrum inconsistent on 11/13 talking to Noons right there in front of that house. We all caught it. You can't say nothing ever happens in Moscow, we weren't worried about it, while saying that you were scared and freaking out and oh my God, like that's not how that works. That's not how that works. No one ever called her out the way they should have for her inconsistencies. Now, did the feds? Probably. I know that in the Kylie Rodney case, her ex-boyfriend Jagger was brought in and interviewed by the FBI, and Steve Fisher talked to him after the facts. And the way that he described the way that the FBI basically interrogated him was like torture. Hours and hours of just like a lot of intense stuff happening. But I don't know. I think she's probably good at what she's doing here. It came too natural for her to instantly play that game in front of the police officers that got to the scene. This is like second nature to her. I just can't believe to this day how this ended up happening. It's so crazy.
Super nice guy, met him a lot, like great friends.
Super nice. Super nice.
Me and we're kind of going in and out of the lodge, which is the main
Gideon
place, and back to the apartment just to see like how it was going, like if it was.
Wonder what Gideon and her were doing really, for real though.
That night, I mean, there was not a lot of people, which is kind of weird.
There's got to be an interview for him somewhere. I don't know if anyone has tried to get it from MPD or ISP or whatever, but if there's not, then I bet you the FBI talked to him.
Was there a football game going on at the same time though?
No.
Oh,
I don't believe
there
so.
There was a late game that night.
Maybe there still was. I can't remember.
Davis. So I think it started.
I can't remember there was a game. You went to a pre-game party at the Whites. The Sigma Chi party was like a Jersey party because it was game day. Ma'am, if this was my child, I would disinherit her. Like, you're not in the will. Instead, they're probably clapping, seeing how fast they can get her to go to law school.
I don't know.
It started at...
I thought it was at 4.
Oh,
yeah.
It's the Washington State game that was
already done.
Yeah, so I think that should have been done before Sigma Chi, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, they were sorry.
That's fine. Yeah, I just didn't know. So me and Gideon obviously going back and forth, kind of looking around.
Little Gideon. I wonder how Quinn feels about Gideon.
Eventually they go into the room, apartment, which I think is, I can't remember, I think it's apartment. I can't really remember. He's a super nice guy. Totally trust him. Like, I've met him a lot.
I met him a lot.
There. I remember Ethan was really worried about his, because
Maisie
is a, they also had their formal that night,
and I know that like if it's like a boyfriend thing or whatever, I mean I don't know, but to this day, I wish that we knew what was making Maisie so upset that night. I also think it's very important because whatever she was upset about that night and whatever the conversation was between them, it prompted Ethan to tell her that he loved her, and to her, that was abnormal. So when something out of character happens so close to something tragic, you have to question it. And I also wonder if Hunter was also messaging her and checking on her just as much as Ethan, because we don't know shit about what Hunter was up to. Again, even when it comes to now in these lawsuits that they keep piggybacking on, Hunter is nowhere. Nowhere.
So as her date. He was texting her a lot because she wasn't answering her, and apparently she'd been calling.
Ethan?
Crying.
This
Ethan Chapin.
Yes, no, I know who you're talking about, but you were talking about Ethan.
Because
unless this is about Maisie.
They also had their formal that night, and so as her date. He was texting her a lot because she wasn't answering her.
Okay, yeah, no. Scratch what I said. This is about Maisie. My bad.
Her, and apparently she'd been calling.
Ethan?
Crying.
This
Ethan Chapin.
Yes, no, I know who you're
She
talking
just
about,
called him
but you were talking about
Chapman?
Ethan calling it.
Chapin. I can't remember how to say it.
Yeah.
Apparently she had been crying and she wasn't answering her phone. And he was just like texting her a lot, really worried. I ended up talking to me after everything happened, and she was like, no, like I just fell asleep and I forgot to text, and the last thing he said was like, I love you.
But see, that's a lie. That's a lie. Maisie already told us. Like, Maisie already said that she had been upset about something that night. So, yeah, no, Dylan's like, I mean, unless Maisie just didn't tell her business, because Maisie does not like Dylan. Maisie made that very, very clear in her Amazon series interviews that she does not like Dylan. Shut the F up. She does not like Dylan. So maybe she just didn't tell her business. But we know from her own mouth that she had been upset about something. She had been upset and he had been worried about her. And yes, she ended up falling asleep. But that wasn't just, oh, nothing. I just ended up falling asleep. No, ma'am. No, something was upsetting her.
That's like way later. But, so I remember that. And then I remember.
Did he say why she was upset?
No, he didn't know why. And he was really worried about her. He's very protective. Like, he was like an older brother, like a big brother to me too. Like, he was super protective of all of us. And then I believe it was me that went to the lodge. And I remember saying like, hey, do you want to go to is one of Xana's best friends. We met through Xana. And she was I guess she was at the house.
We haven't heard her interview either, huh? I don't even know if I would know what report, if she was interviewed, if I didn't even recognize the report for this Allie girl. But if she was really close to Xana and they were there that night, we probably should have an interview from her.
She has 2 roommates. One of them I know was there, and they were just having, I think there's like 5 or 6 people total at the house, and it's like a 5-minute walk from my house. So I remember telling me, and like, do you want to go later? We just called it. They ended up staying, so me and ended up walking there. It's like a 5-minute walk. I was with him. We go in there. It's obviously me and Claire, I mean, best friend, and then twin, and then there's also him, I believe. I'm almost positive that's who is there.
Okay. So this would be part number 29 with how he has it in the book, which is supposed to be the report. The group of them went to visit Allie, who she had previously met through Xana, and Kinsey was also there, including Dylan, Yessie, Gideon, Jenna Claire, Lakeland, Ava, and Zach, which again is Jenna's twin brother. So I don't know if he redacted this portion that's going to come up here soon in the book because he felt like he had to, because this is about, I don't know. It's around the drug situation. But he has it redacted in here too, and he's supposed to have been able to have heard the unredacted things, right? So he doesn't say, does he say? So he's saying that he's like putting the report in here verbatim, and we see that he's putting names and information that are like redacted names in what he's putting. But I mean, if he's getting it unredacted, why is this part redacted? Like, where's that information? And again, he's not claiming that it's him that's the one that's redacting it for any reason, like personal, maybe medical. So when we get to that point here in a second, I'll let you know that's the one, but it's redacted, which is surprising. Honestly.
Again, I kept drinking more. We were playing Rage Cage drinking game, so I don't know fully how much I had to drink. I obviously was probably drunk at this point.
Prior to that point, how much you had to drink? Up to the point that you don't remember, how much had you had to drink?
So like after the nap, I had about 3 or 4 drinks of seltzers. I'm pretty sure.
Like what type of seltzers?
Like just White Claws.
They're like 5%.
Those are 5%.
They're usually 5, so you're doing the lower end.
Yeah, that's what we usually would always drink.
So this isn't a question of interrogation. It isn't a jam up. Were you doing anything else besides the alcohol?
No, me and never have. Xana and Ethan, they would take Adderall every now and then, but that was the only thing they would ever do. Maddie would never ever. Kaylee, I remember her talking about it once when she did Adderall, but that was it. I mean, Xana and Ethan were very smart. They were not like stupid with drugs at all. I remember all I heard about of them doing was Adderall. That's the only thing I've heard of. Me and were never we just never touched that stuff.
You just did alcohol.
Just drank. That was the only thing we did. So we're at our place. Obviously having a good time. My friend, do you know what a Borg is? People do Borgs. It's like those huge water jugs you pour out alcohol, put vodka and me or whatever. It's supposed to like get you really drunk or whatever. Obviously had drinking the whole Borg, and she was very drunk, and I didn't want her to walk home.
She just said that Lake is the one that drank the whole Borg. She drank lightweight, little baby 5% seltzers, maybe had a few sips, but she just basically said what we already knew, that shit wasn't her that drank that whole damn gallon of freaking alcohol. It was Lakeland. Miss Ma'am was totally fine.
So she had been talking to this guy named Hayden. He's a super sweet guy. I really like him. I was like, okay, well, I can take with me to go home and we can watch Vampire Diaries and just cook popcorn, you know? So
explain to me why the hell she just mentioned the fact that What's-Her-Face was talking to a dude and then talking about how her and Lakeland. Was there a guy there too? Did this Hayden guy go back to the freaking house? Let's listen to that one more time.
And me or whatever. Supposed to like get you really drunk or whatever. Obviously had drinking the whole Borg.
But see, this is where it's weird, and I don't understand like why this is like this. Okay, let me look at the report. Is it like this on this damn report? 31. This dude is stupid. Okay, so for 31 and 32, he has these redactions. Is he not redacting? And then on the report itself, she just literally went into talking about Lakeland and then going back to the house. So I don't know if there's going to be like another break here or not, but I wanted to show you that on the report, it doesn't have that redaction. 31 and 32 are very much written in there. So why did he redact it in the damn book? 31 says basically what she just said. So he redacted the part about the Borg. Why would he do that? Why did he just redact the part about the Borg? This is on page 157 of the book. Look. And we just heard her talking about it. And it's right here. 31, 32. Why did he do that? So 31 says exactly what she just read. I'm going to read it, though, because it's missing from the damn book, and I don't know why. She described the alcohol used at blank and blank's residence, which would be Allie and Kinsey, which included Lake consuming a whole Borg, in which she also consumed some of the Borg. Based on Google search I conducted relative to writing this report, a Borg is an alcoholic beverage which requires taking an empty gallon container and filling it halfway with water, adding vodka and enough Mio, or like liquid flavor additive, to make the taste of vodka disappear. The cocktail is often referred to as a Borg, but the nickname doubles as an acronym that stands for the drink's full name, Blackout Rage Gallon. That's number 31. Now, number 32 is she described blank, which is Lakeland, as being extremely intoxicated and that she had continued to consume alcohol. And because of Lakeland's intoxicated condition, blank advised she invited, so this would be Dylan. Dylan advised she invited Lake to come back to her residence to watch movies. And because of Lake's intoxicated position, she called a sobro, and that's where it continues on. Why did he take that part out of the book and put it as redacted? That is dumb as shit. Why would you redact that? He has no problem putting the previous owner of Kaylee's freaking Range Rover, her full ass damn name, including, I think, even middle freaking initial, the psychopath, in this book. But then he's redacting the part about them drinking a freaking Borg? Dude, you don't make no damn sense. You don't make no sense.
Very drunk.
But listen again, because I don't know why the hell she is mentioning the fact that that Lakeland was talking to this Hayden dude and then talking about how she's so drunk I'm taking her home and they get a sobro. That doesn't make no damn sense. That don't make no sense.
And I didn't want her to walk home. So she had been talking to this guy named Hayden. He's a super sweet guy. I really like him. I was like, okay, well, I can take with me to go home and we can watch Vampire Diaries and just cook popcorn, you know? So
explain to me why she's mentioning this dude. One more time.
Supposed to like get you really drunk, whatever. Obviously had drinking the whole Borg and she was very drunk and I didn't want her to walk home. So she had been talking to this guy named Hayden. He's a super sweet guy. I really like him. I was like, okay, well, I can take with me to go home and we can watch Vampire Diaries and just cook popcorn, you know? So
why are you mentioning that? No one stopped and said, why are you telling us about the guy that she has a crush on before telling us that she then took you back to the house? Did he go with you? No one's asking that question. How very strange.
Every fraternity, they have sobros, which are freshmen that are supposed to be sober for that night so they can drive people home. I tell him, I was like, hey, can you get a sobro so we don't have to walk? I mean, the walk's not terrible, but like... She's
asking Hayden to get them a sobro. Okay.
She can not walk very well. We get the sobro.
She couldn't walk very well, and then she walked home by herself later. Not very long later. That's crazy.
Was going to come with us, my friend, but she ended up staying at, I believe. I don't know where she went exactly because of me got in the car. I don't know who the guys were that drove us, but like I trust them because I knew them. I trusted them. They were all part of it.
That's crazy.
They're known as being like super nice, trustworthy.
I don't know who the guy was, but Hayden got him there, so I trust him. That's crazy, girl.
Guys. We get home. No one is home. So we go upstairs. The house is kind of a mess, obviously, because we just had that party Friday. Saturday, we were drinking, whatever.
What time is this that you go home?
Oh, let me check again. I don't know if I fully have a photo.
What do you call the freshmen that stay sober?
Sobros.
Sobros.
Yeah. So it was definitely after 1, because I have a video of dancing at 1. So
So this is where things got a little bit misconstrued, and I had to sit back and I had to think about like time zones and all the dumb shit, right? Okay, so we have Lakeland, and again in her interview, which we'll have to review interview number 1 again, I think for chapter 7, but whatever. She says that the picture that she took of Ethan's clothes on the bathroom floor was at 12:43. So then I was thinking, okay, let's talk about time zones, because time zones could be an issue depending on where she was during the time of the interview. They have the timestamp from her actual like system at 1:33 when she took the picture of Dylan on the couch with the blanket. they are speaking with Lakeland in her second interview together in the same room. And that timeline of the picture of Dylan with the blanket being taken after the picture of Ethan's clothes on the bathroom floor has remained the same. So knowing that she was gone because she has pictures of her right after 2:00 getting home, then it couldn't have been back an hour to where it was like 1:43, because then that would put the Dylan picture at 2:33, and that just doesn't work. So they had to have gotten home by like 12:40. She said the first thing she did was run to the bathroom, which again, I question, why didn't you go into the freaking bathroom right in front of your face when you open that front door? That's literally the first thing that you see is the bathroom door. Why did you go up the stairs, turn a U-turn to go down a hallway instead of just taking whatever you needed to do in that first bathroom? Then you take pictures of Ethan's clothes like a freaking creepo. That whole thing is just odd to me. Yeah, it would have had to have been around like 12:40. It would have had to have been. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out, subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already, and please don't forget to make sure that the notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.